This is
The Handbag Husband.
the Handbag Husband. Yay! So today we are in very rare form. Today here in front of the Beverly Hills Hermes. So that's what it looks like. Now, it is not our home boutique, and we almost never go, although it is quite close.
Even though we live right over here.
We live right over there. But there it is. And today, I think one of the reasons we are here in a rarity is to talk about something that we have kind of contemplated over all of our Hermèscapades and things that we experience, which is turning down Quota bags, because we've actually been offered quite a few Quota bags and we don't actually cover all the ones that we have. But I think this time around what we're going to do is talk about the main bags that stick out in our heads when we think about the bags that we turn down. We'll talk about why we turned them down, and also at the very end, whether we regret it or not. Now, before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you like the Hermes conversation, if you like the Hermes milieu, and if you like the bag candy, and this video is going to have tons of bag candy from all of our Hermèscapades, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it does really help the channel grow, and we are so thankful for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. But also because it means you get notified when our newest long videos come out, when our newest short videos come out, and all the things we have on the socials, on Instagram and on YouTube, because we have new Hermes content that is great every single week. All right, let's talk about some of those Quota bags we turned down. All right, so first up, and these bags are really from around the world, right? We have some in Europe, we have some here in the United States that we're going to talk about. I don't think any ones in Asia.
No,
not
yet.
No regrets in
not
Asia.
Yet. Not yet.
But the first one up today is going to be a bag that I think when it was offered to us, it was kind of the midpoint of our wish list that we had going.
Yes,
and
yeah.
so my feeling was that it was sort of like a distraction bag. I don't know if that's the right way to think about it.
No, I don't think it was distraction. Do you want to say what bag it is first?
Oh yes, it was a Birkin 40 in like a navy blue.
It was black.
It looks blue in the picture.
No.
Maybe it was black.
It was black.
It was just like the lighting. With palladium hardware in Togo leather. And I think, I don't know, what was, we turned them down, obviously.
I don't believe it was a distraction. It was very close to the spec that I gave.
Yes.
Because I want.
Oh, so you're saying the SA was trying to offer it as saying, hey, this is something
It's what we available
this is
right
an
now.
approximatation of what we have within your. Okay, that's probably true.
I don't think it's distraction. I think it was a genuine hey, this is very close. You know, it's only off by 5 centimeters, obviously. Because my list was at that time was Birkin 35 in Go Hardware.
That's right.
So
which we eventually got. Check out our unboxing from back in the day.
So it's very close. If
It's
you
very
think about
close.
it, the color is perfect, right? Black. I would have taken black.
Do you think that when you saw this bag, it helped you decide that 35 might have been a better option than 40?
Hindsight, very much so. Right now, I'm using that bag, like my Birkin 35.
Yeah.
It's like that's my workhorse. So
Yeah.
I feel like
workhorse.
Yes,
Yeah, I get it.
yes.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Ahmed.
I feel like 40 would have been a little bit too big for like almost everyday usage.
Yeah.
35 was perfect for me.
Yeah.
But like, at that time, I'm like, you know what? 5 centimeters is not that much, that much bigger.
Oh, it is. 5 centimeters is something for sure.
But it's almost like 2 strike, right? It's 2 strike out to me.
Yeah.
Because one was palladium hardware.
Yeah.
And it was 35. So it was 40 instead of 35.
I mean, especially in retrospective now, of like even our most recent experience on the metro and stuff like that, having a larger bag and trying to maneuver around in a crowded metro space when we were in Paris, it's unwieldy to have something. Even that 5 centimeters makes a huge difference. So either way, that was the first one. You know, I think that it was the right choice, obviously.
And I guess it was a glimpse of maybe this is the bag. You could have used it.
A glimpse of the Quota bags of yet to come.
Yes, for the Handbag Husband. But I'm like, no, at that time, I'm so determined. I want a usable, not usable Birkin. It's it's something that I can use every day. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So next one up is one that actually
is pretty.
It's very pretty.
Yes.
It's very, very pretty.
Yes.
And especially now that I had an epiphany about the leather on it, from when we saw it to when we saw it now, at least my suspicions. It is a Kelly Cellier 28 quadrille, so it has the cross hatch pattern on it.
The 4,
square, I guess. Yeah, 4. with Swift and Palladium hardware. Now, where I think this is different is that I don't think it's Swift. After seeing the one that we saw recently, I actually think it's Butler leather.
I think it's Swift.
Which is box leather, but in natural color, and that's why it's so beautiful. That's why I love Butler and box.
I don't know.
So
Maybe it's not Swift, but
we also just recently saw one that looked very similar to this with a different design that also had the same color, and I was like, oh, that's Butler. So I don't know. I'd be curious what you all think. Is it Swift or is it Butler? I think it's Butler. You think it's Swift? Either way, this one was offered to us as well, and I think that, well, there's a couple reasons why we actually ended up turning this one down.
It's a pretty bag, but
it's a very pretty bag. It's sort of impractical for your style. Right?
Impractical?
Yeah.
It is practical. It's neutral color.
Yeah.
It's very much like muted, like non.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really think this is a Hermes bag, you know? It's a kind of different.
It is a bit of a outside the baseline for Hermes. I mean, obviously the shape and the design, everyone's gonna know Kelly. It's Kelly, it's Kelly.
Yeah.
But the actual design, you're like, oh.
Is it? Like, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you turn this one down though?
Because I have exactly the same bag, but a different color.
What is the leather on that one?
Do you know that? When we will do the bag. What's it called? The bag collection.
The bag collection reveal.
Yeah,
because we're doing that monthly.
You guys will
so
get to
check
see.
that out. You see it here. If you stick around long enough, you'll see our whole collection revealed.
Yes.
And every month we're going to release some of the bags.
Yes.
Do you know off the top of your head what leather that bag is though?
Swift.
Is it Swift?
That's why I say.
Okay, so maybe this one is
That's
Swift.
why I said that.
I want to believe it's Butler.
Could be,
It
but
was so long ago.
again, I didn't do any research. But like that one, the trim is Swift.
I also think that this bag was offered pretty early on in our Hermes career.
Career. This is
whatever.
the career.
You know, our Hermes pathway, our Hermes quest. And so I don't think our tastes actually were ready for it as well. At least to have a second one.
At that time I was like, oh, this is very different. I really like it. The one that they got offered. But if you were to compare side by side and I could choose, like obviously I'm gonna choose the brown one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Because we had an offer, and this happens multiple times, and this might be a lesson learned that we never learned, is that you get one bag offered, and then you get the same bag offered
again,
and a more preferred color,
which is
not too much longer.
Kind of crazy, yeah.
Okay, just different colors.
And also it's because it's a fabric-ish.
Yeah.
The mostly fabric, you know, like what's it called? The quadrille
or something, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want the two exactly the same bag. That's different color and then mostly fabric.
Also, it takes a very specific Hermes lover, right, to get this type of bag.
Sure.
Right, it's obviously not the most popular, and we'll talk about some of the bags that are just like right down the center line, most popular bags that we turn down future, but this one is kind of an offshoot a little bit, and I'm glad that we have the one that we have.
Yeah.
I would have preferred to have this one, but I think
I guess yes and no. I still like the one that I have.
Yeah.
It gives a totally different vibe.
Totally different vibe. It's amazing how much of a color change.
The mood
changes the whole
makes
vibe
sense.
of everything.
Yeah.
And like where you would basically wear it.
But
maybe that's obvious for you all, but for
that
me,
one was pretty easy. No, like that one was pretty easy. I was like, I already have this one. Let's move on. Yeah.
Our next up is going to be a bag that I think was much easier for you to say no to than it was to me, because I sort of have an affinity for these types of bags. These bags, I think, inherently feel more masculine. I agree. They oftentimes are referred to as like officer kind of bags and things like that, which was a Birkin 25 in canvas and Swift. So the upper was Swift, and the bottom was canvas, and it was in the color of white. I don't know if it's not it's hard to say with the light the way
it's
it was.
It's like the baby version of the cargo, but not the cargo because it doesn't have the pockets. Yeah.
So I mean, for me, I like touch. I don't know if you count this as a touch. It's not really touch, right? It's just mixed media, I guess.
Yeah.
But I like having that leather upper Swift and then having the fabric on the bottom. I think that's a cool feel to it. It feels less. It feels less formal, and it feels more usable, and it feels more kind of like a field bag, something you would bring out. Out into wherever you're going, and not just something in the office.
I mean, first is the color.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For me, that's a problem because the white just destroys.
First is the color. Second, due to the color, it's a canvas. Meaning that once I put it down, the canvas is gonna suck it in, because it's white.
Anxious about it. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, if it were to be a darker color, I might have
No,
considered.
I don't think so.
Again, because it's 25, it's the
Yeah.
color, it's the canvas, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit too many things
Yeah.
going on. So
I will tell you, like for example, in the past we saw, like at FSH, they had they had this version, but it was the blue.
yeah,
And also with the corduroy on the bottom. I don't know what the
I
French
think it was
word for
Milan.
Oh, maybe it was Milan. Sorry, that was Milan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll put it up here. But
But that's a bigger bag. That's one
it
of
is
the
much
bigger
bigger. Yes. But I think that is a version that I would strongly consider.
For sure.
Yeah.
And this one is just 25.
It's just so unique. I mean, corduroy from Hermes. Come on, it's really interesting.
It's still the same issue, right?
It has a warm
No, it's
wintry
still
vibe
the
to
same
it.
issue with the Kelly. It's the
Oh,
fabric,
yes.
like quote unquote fabric.
Oh, yeah.
Hermes known for their leathers.
Yeah.
So maybe in the future, yes, but like
I mean, I think in general, as our collection evolves, we won't have it doesn't have to all be leather all the time, right?
correct. That's why I have some that is not leather. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, this one was a pretty easy no. I think the color was a ding
And then I
against
feel
it.
like other people might have been like, oh, this is very like it fit their personality, perfect. That's great. But like it's just not. It's not it for me.
Or if you're
you
like
know?
one of the Olsen twins and you know you're just gonna beat up your bag, like that's why you bought it for, to like
Sure.
just abuse it and use
Yeah,
it.
but still.
Which is the reason I do buy my bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then this one might look cool with like weird coffee stains, like cigarette burns or whatever in it. You know, like.
Or you want to paint it,
No, I'm not gonna paint it. I'm no Van Gogh. Van Gogh.
but you cannot really hear well. So I mean,
That is funny. It's not funny.
Tell me if you can when the clock is striking 12.
All right, so those were the first three. Let's talk about the next three, and these ones definitely have
you in 3 like this.
three has definitely had way more impact on
And more
kind
recent?
of our
No,
Hermèscapades.
it's not more
They're
recent.
not necessarily
No,
more
it's not
recent.
more recent,
And
no.
in fact, some of these were the most difficult decisions we've had to make. And it always is when there is a decision, when they're like, would you like this one that you like, or would you like this one that you like? And you're like, I like them both, but we'll talk about that. So first one up is actually going to be another one that I think this one actually was a bit of an amuse-bouche, which was a Constance in box with palladium, and it was offered to us recently from our Topanga Boutique. Yes, Topanga Boutique.
Brain fart.
So this one was that we got offered. I think we were out of town at the time when they had offered it, maybe?
We were almost leaving for a trip, like
Yes.
a day
Yes.
before or something,
Yeah.
and we got a
Yeah.
text. Yeah.
And I think we were at maybe like 1.5 to 1 as far as the spend goes. So
Was
that's why I
it
think it's like
1.2 to
it was something to
1.5, like
kind of
some-
hold us over, because our SA had been saying, hey, look, we're waiting until the specific bag that falls within your criteria shows up,
yeah.
and it's basically been quite some time. Yeah, it's basically been quite some time since we started. So I don't know. We thought the clock was ticking, and I think that again that's why this one was offered. But I think in other situations, in other renditions, we would have actually taken this. So I guess why did you say no to this one?
I guess at first I got really excited, like, oh, it's something from
Yeah,
Topanga, you
yeah,
know, like
yeah.
something.
Finally, Topanga
like finally
came
something.
through.
But it was not what I wanted.
No, I mean, I think we have kind of a love-hate relationship with
If it
Constance.
were to be 24,
Ooh,
the size 24, because this
yeah.
one is the normal mini
Yeah.
18, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not Kelly, so I don't know. It was a like, you know what? Like I'm already waiting this long.
Yes. And, I think that is the case, right? Obviously, for the Topanga timeline, really, obviously, we didn't want to get distracted on our pathway to the Quota Bag, right? And so that we
I mean,
had
yes, like
we had a feeling that taking this Constance may have justified more time on the
Yeah.
SA's mind to prevent us from getting the bag that we've actually been looking for, or maybe it was just to hold us over. Maybe it would have been all the same. We don't know, obviously, because we turned it down.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that had it been in gold, it would have also been a little bit of a different,
Yes.
a different decision.
If it
as well.
were to be gold, or if it were to be 24, the size 24.
Yes, or 24
And
in
then,
gold.
and then I might have like a serious conversation. Oh, you know what? It's
Yeah.
a box leather.
Yeah,
Because it's box.
and have that discussion with them explicitly. How does this affect our spend? How does it affect our Quota Bag quest? Because obviously, sometimes if you do buy things, it can reset it, or it can set it back a little bit,
Correct.
or give justification for
Yeah.
a longer wait time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is, I like Constance. I know you like Constance less than I do. I think in general.
Yes, correct.
I'd be curious to see as our collection progresses if there is going to be a little bit more fortification of the Constance wing of the
The
collection.
24 is fine. I think
Yeah.
I might aim for.
Yeah,
nice
or even a Constance Alon. I think Constance Alon has kind of a unique a unique feel to it as well.
I'm not a big fan.
Oh, well, it's just wishful thinking for me.
I think it's if I were to going to get if I am a were or am going to get another, it'd probably be the size 24 or a very specific spec, the mini one. Yeah.
Or for something really unique, right?
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
a rouge H, right, in gold.
Probably not so
Right.
much of the color. It's probably gonna be the leather.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
probably
see.
probably not gonna be so much of the color. Yes, color will play into the
Yeah.
factors, but probably gonna be the leather.
Would
of
it
the
factor
bag.
in if it was some sort of reptilian leather?
I don't think so.
Okay. Either
don't
way,
think
so
so.
this one was a no, and this one was actually relatively easy because we did see it as a distraction, almost as like a punt fake, I guess, if you will. If we're talking about football. Just wanted to throw up there a smoke screen to kind of defer us from the path of Quota Bags. But that was easy. Now these next two though, were one was probably the toughest decision we've ever had to make.
Down the chimney, broad and black, with your pack, your cream.
These next two are probably the toughest decision we ever had to make in Hermes Boutique, which, I mean, honestly, it's not that tough in the grand scheme of things, but it was tough for us.
Pio might say it's a big mistake.
Big mistake. But also, another one that was actually a true big mistake, and we'll talk
I
about
don't think I don't. I,
Well, let's
I don't
just get to it. We can
think
get to it here.
Neither are a mistake. Yeah.
Or at least they induce more regret. Let's put it that way. So the first one was one that was actually kind of a dream, essentially, right? It was
Correct. It was this exact spec that
It
I
was the-
asked.
So it was at FSH in Paris at the Big Boom
The Big
boutique,
Boom.
the Big Boom boutique, and we actually had an appointment for this one. So we actually this is one of the few times we ever got an appointment. It's been quite some time at this point, but it still lingers around in our mind because we got an appointment. We went to FSH, and so the SA brings out
No, what they asked for.
yes,
I was like, oh, do you have a Birkin Kelly Gold and Gold
yeah,
30? That's what I
yeah,
asked. That was what I
yeah,
asked.
Yeah,
Or you have a Kelly Exotic.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
the two bags that I asked
Yes.
for.
And so then the essay's like, well, we have both. And so we get into a kind of split the baby kind of decision where they're like, well, look, we have a gold on gold, which is the one that ultimately got rejected.
Yes.
But then we also got offered a Kelly in exotic. And, I think we'll talk more about the Kelly exotic, especially as we are doing our bag releases throughout the year, because it is the one we ended up choosing. But the one we ended up rejecting was the gold on gold. And this one truly was a tough decision. You had gone back and forth. You tried to make me make the decision. I was like, I'm not getting
in
into
the
this.
room for a while,
Yeah.
and then the essay kept checking us.
Yeah. This is like, I'll leave you all alone, and I'll come back. And
Yeah, that one was a
Yeah.
that was a tough one. Yeah.
But why was it tough? What made it tough? One, because the gold on gold fed our basicness.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
it's so
and this
beautiful.
is has been 3 years now?
Yeah,
2
yeah.
years, 3 years now? I don't know.
And then
I think it's-
the Kelly exotic fed our kind of our penchant for exoticism.
And it was not my style per se, the color.
Which one?
The Kelly.
Yes.
It was a little bit but I do like when they're side by side.
Yeah.
The Kelly kind of piqued my interest more. I
Yeah.
guess at that moment, I don't think there was either bag. I don't think there was any wrong choice. No wrong choice
there
here.
was no wrong choice necessarily. I think that one interesting thing about your selection of Quota bags in general,
Yeah.
not always, that we have some basic ones that fall really close into your comfort
Sure,
zone,
sure.
but you also tend to choose ones that are just kind of
Sometimes.
just outside.
Yeah,
just
sometimes,
outside. You're like,
sometimes,
it's almost like you're
Like I
trying
choose
to
a
force
husband.
yourself. It's like you're trying to force yourself outside of your
Yeah,
comfort zone
I
by
think
getting
so.
a Quota bag that's sort of out of your quota zone, out of your
Cortisone.
out of your you're trying to
zone.
buy a Quota
For
bag
sure.
that's outside your comfort zone to force you to
For sure. I
bigging it up a little
so,
bit. And
yeah.
I think that's very interesting and commendable and laudable. Good job, baby boo.
Yeah. It was tough. It was
Yeah,
tough.
it is tough. So the gold and gold.
Sometimes we still go back and forth.
Well, the thing is also we're like, oh, we can get the gold and gold later. The other aspect
Yes,
is,
yeah.
oh, we'll get the gold and gold is so popular, it's so common.
And it's still to this day.
And today it is still very common and it is very popular, but it doesn't make it any easier to get.
No, it's
because
not.
the supply is still less than the
For sure,
demand.
for sure.
Whereas the Kelly exotic, the demand is still high, but it's less than the supply.
For sure.
Not less than the supply, but maybe it's equal. It's an equilibrium for the supply.
Yeah.
With the gold and gold, the demand is leaps and bounds
Yeah.
higher
Yeah.
than the supply of it. And we saw that while we were walking around recently
And I think,
in
and I
Paris.
think hindsight, I think I made the right choice.
Yeah.
Especially after this Paris trip.
Well, I think we'll get to that. We'll get to that in the regrets part. We'll get to that
Sure.
in the regret. All right, so that was that one. A tough choice, but I'm glad we made a choice at all. Right? You could have just been like, I'm not gonna think about it. You could have been like, I can't do this and just left. Which,
No,
you
I
know.
actually asked the SA, say, hey.
What do you think?
No. I asked her,
Oh,
like,
yes.
can we get
Wow.
2 bags?
That was a little weaselly.
No, but because I couldn't make a decision. I
Yes,
couldn't.
yes,
It was so difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the most difficult decision.
And the essay's like, nah.
Nah, makes
Nah.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely not her first rodeo.
Yeah.
Rodeo. Come on, I go. Another than that one?
You will find hanging in a row. Mine will be the shortest one. You'll be sure to know.
All right, and then last up was one that I actually view as a mistake. I know you don't view as a mistake. I view as a mistake.
It's not.
But
It
was,
doesn't fit me. And neither of us, you and I, don't like the size of the bag. Why?
It's pretty, though.
Why? Not the color was okay. It was palladium.
Well, you tell, what was it? You tell what it was.
It's a mini Kelly.
Yes.
I know.
Now,
The comments
now,
say like,
now,
you
it was a
fool,
mini Kelly.
You fool.
Yes. Now, to be fair, it was maybe almost like the very like
The second time. So
the
it was the
middle of the
second time.
pandemic, though. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the second time that we walked into the store.
Yes, we went to the Hermes in Napoli.
Yes, that was in Napoli.
And they were like, first of all, it was the middle of the pandemic, so no one was traveling. So they're like, oh, Americans. We haven't seen an American for
Yeah.
like 16
Yeah.
months at this point.
Yeah.
Right? So when we gave them our passport, so they were like, or when we gave them our information, they were like, oh. So it was empty. It was dead. There was no tourists. There was nobody there, but basically just us.
I remember I was asking for, do you have like a Kelly 28 or like Birkin 30, 35?
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
those specs.
And it was also still very early on, so I knew basically I couldn't be a reliable resource because I literally knew
Yeah.
nothing about it.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, why does that one look different than the other ones?
Yeah.
It looks smaller, perhaps
Yeah.
even minier.
Yeah.
But the color was okay, right? In blue.
It was in blue,
Yeah.
palladium hardware.
Palladium hardware.
And at first you were like, no, it was like, no, I remember vividly like tried it on with the
Yeah.
the strap. So
Yeah.
it was mini Kelly.
I mean, to be fair, we had no idea that 5-6 years down the road, or however long it's been at this point, that a mini Kelly would be worth like 6 to 1, like spend here in Beverly
But
Hills.
I don't like it.
No, that's true, and that's commendable. You don't typically buy anything that you don't want just because it's popular,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that one I think maybe it's not a mistake, but it still sticks out in my mind. So let's talk about the regrets. All right, so let's talk about the regrets. And I think, luckily, we don't really have many regrets. There's a couple. We don't have regrets about not taking the bag, but in many ways, we have regrets about. Well, it's the Kelly and the exotic Kelly and the gold on gold
I
Birkin.
don't think I have any regrets.
It's not a regret per se, but it's a regret that we had to make the decision, right? I would have liked to have had both.
Is it a
or-
better word than regrets? Than
I don't know. I mean, if it's this long away and we're still thinking about it, at least I'm still thinking about it, I would count that as a regret. Whatever it's called, it's still a regret. Oh, it's a Mariah Carey
I know.
Christmas miracle. So I think that overall, it's not a regret, but it's something that I'm considering this late. So I don't know what you'd call that. But thinking about it overall, I think that it was the right. So actually, this one, most of the ones we made, right choice. The right choice and the lesson that we learned is that do not take a bag that you don't specifically exactly want, because later down the road, we've gotten bags that exactly
so
what we wanted.
let's say, for example, let's talk about the first 3 bags, right?
Sure.
We say no, and
Yeah.
then what do we end up with?
Yeah.
Exact spec.
Well, so if you
the
talk about the
Birkin
quadrille
35.
one, right? That's a perfect lesson on the inverse. If we had not gotten
Sure.
the one that we gotten, we would have definitely taken this one
Sure.
instead.
Sure.
Right.
Or
and
the Birkin 40.
or the Birkin 40. Yeah.
I got
You got
35
the
for
35.
hardware.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is where that lesson would be on the positive side.
Yeah.
On the negative side, I think the miscalculation we made for the gold on gold versus the Kelly exotic is that we had assumed that getting a gold on gold, because it is so prolific, would be much easier to get. And the reality is, it's actually not.
But
We could have gotten
But
many,
now-
many more
but-
Kelly exotics before. after if we had pulled that gold one first.
But I kind of don't want it anymore
okay.
because everyone has it.
Well, we didn't know that then, though.
No, now I'm talking about now.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we had reversed it, if you had chosen the gold on gold,
Yeah,
we
would
could
be
have gotten the
fine
Kelly
too.
Exotic multiple times afterwards, easier and faster. Whereas inversely, if we want the gold on gold, which maybe we do, maybe that will change. But at the time we did, it took much longer to get even offered one.
True.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's the only one that's the only kind of lesson, I guess. I don't know if you call it a regret. It's kind of a regret. It's a regret for me. But
I think it's just more of what's it called? Like in parallel universe. If I have, I would have chosen that one. This the path that it's
Yeah.
gonna be. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like how do you know?
yeah,
Again, not Kelly.
the parallel
constant-
universe where you're out in front and
Yeah.
I'm over back behind the camera.
Yeah. I think every bag choices will lead you to another bag that it's always
That's been our experience.
it's
yeah.
always gonna be more bag, guys. It's always going to be more
Yeah.
bags. So say for example the constant box, we say no. Now we got the bag that we want, and then it would be next week video.
Yes.
We're gonna do unboxings when we
Yes.
get from
If you made it this
Japan,
far, you deserve to
finally.
know.
Yes.
It's a little advanced heads up nose for you.
Yes. Good
Yeah.
job. Thank you for
Thanks for watching this
long.
far.
Right?
Yeah.
Also with the mini Kelly, we say no to it. What do we get instead?
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh.
right. So I feel like every no
Yeah. Yeah.
so far
Has led to a
has
better
it.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I think that's
100%.
So
Yeah.
I don't see that it's a regret or
Yeah.
it's a wrong, it's a mistake. I don't agree with that. That's why I was like, is it a
But we
better
still
word?
end up thinking about these ones.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, yeah,
I
for
don't know.
sure.
Whatever you want to
For
call.
sure, for
I don't know what
sure.
the word for that is. I don't know if we have a word in English for that, but
An itch,
a nag,
a thorn.
a thorn. Yeah. All right, so that is the Quota bags that we turned down, and I don't know. I'd love to see what you all think about our bags. Also, more importantly, and infinitely more interesting, I'd love to know what bags you have turned down.
The most difficult one.
The most difficult.
one.
Yeah, what are the most difficult bags you've turned down? How you feel about that? And do you still regret it now, right? Or did you turn them down and it was whatever, water off a duck's back? Or was it something that you still haunts you, especially around that Christmas time, like the Marleys? But either way, if you do like these videos, if you like the Hermes conversation, if you like the Hermes milieu, and if you like the bag candy, and I mean,
Next video is gonna be next video, guys.
Yeah.
Next video.
So,
Finally, it's gonna be unboxing.
Yeah, there will
I'm
be.
telling you.
Yeah, okay,
there
that's
will
the unboxing.
There will
But
be a
this
Quota Bag
video,
unboxing. Next
this video
videos.
is
I'm
bag
hyped.
candy
I'm
as well.
hyping.
Yes,
I'm
we can
hyping.
hype.
We haven't shot it yet, but
yes, we'll have to work on that. But if you like all that stuff, please don't forget to like and subscribe because it does really help the channel grow. And of course, we are so thankful for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. But also because it means you get notified when our newest long videos come out, when our newest short videos come out, and all the things we have on the socials, on Instagram and on YouTube, because we have new great Hermes content coming out every single week. So with that, from a chilly Rodeo Drive, chilly for California, thank you and goodbye.
Happy holiday.
Happy holidays.